heart to you. Freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you. Do what you promised to. And I'm so grateful for grateful for your love. And all my eyes have seen the wonders of your mystery received. I've tasted what it means. Now nothing else is good enough for me. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. Oh, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Oh, I need you now. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you. Freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you. Do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful, grateful, grateful. I'm so grateful. I need you in my life. Grateful, grateful,
All right. We are live and direct in the studio. I got my brothers with me this evening. You know what that means. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's get into it.
young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yeah. All right. Yep. That's it. We're in here. We're live. We're in the building. Shout out to everybody who is checking in on the chat right now. We appreciate each and every one of you like we do every single time. We love you guys. We're live. I see my mom in there. I see a bunch of people checking in. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button and share this video with your friends because, again, the algorithm does not give us any support, so we need the support from you guys in order to see what's going on there, in order to spread the kingdom, the pride of the Young Lions. We need y'all help, so make sure you guys hit that like button as soon as you come in. Share the video. And, you know, drop a comment in, say what's up to us, say hello, let us know where you're watching from. And if you're on any of the platforms, you know, if you're on Rumble, hit that Rumble button. And, you know, Twitch, Twitter, X, I mean.
Doing that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so make sure you guys hit that like button and share this video with your friends. But yeah, if you want to support what we do, go on over to Patreon, tap on in over there, patreon.com/YoungLionTV, and you can become a member there. Also, if you want to get some merch and rock the t-shirts and the hats and the Young Lion paraphernalia, you can get that on our band store, which is jatan.com/shop. So appreciate everybody once again. I got with me this evening, of course, the two brothers hanging out over there on the other couch. One is, you know, the most confusing man. He confuses everybody. You look at him, you see a black guy. You hang out with him, you say, hey, that's not a black guy. You're still not sure. Then he tells you his name and you're like, wait, but you're not Mexican. He is Mr. James Garcia, a.k.a.
right.
Mr. Build Right. Yeah. Them salt and peppers is coming in, man. Get that age is coming for you.
Yeah, man, I embrace it, man.
Yeah. How's it feel? Getting older?
Same as y'all. Y'all all the same age. Y'all making it sound like I'm. Look at that pop-pops over there.
I mean, you looking
on
kind of
forgetting.
pop-up right now. You got the pop-up.
Especially the hat.
You got the pop-up hat
This is
on.
my dad's hat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got the pop-up hat and the grays coming
You're
in.
embracing the.
You're embracing the pop-up.
Yeah, man. Soon enough, I'll be like, give me back my screwdriver. Come here.
Right? Telling Alonzo, hey, don't mess with my tools, boy.
Speaking of Alonzo, he was playing soccer today. He's doing much better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's liking soccer?
He's liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
He's doing good.
Shout out to Alonzo, my little nephew.
That age, man. I remember
know,
when
I love
Noe. How old is he now?
3.
He started way earlier than.
Yeah.
Like Noah started at 5, and it was pretty much the same thing. They're just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah used to he didn't even wasn't even focused at all for like the first year. He was like chasing butterflies and picking flowers.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not my stuff. That's my nephew.
Yeah.
That's my nephew over there. I just bring him out for everybody to see.
And
Nephew,
that-
put that.
And now when you brings Noah to the barbecues and events, he's doing the same
The
thing.
same thing.
He's off on the side chasing
Your
squirrels.
son, he
and-
just grew the llama haircut.
Right.
At his face.
But of course, we gotta give a shout out to
yeah.
the coolest Asian in the gang.
Cooler than a polar bear's toenail.
He's the coolest Asian
not
in the
that cool.
podcast world, man. I mean,
that he is.
I'm all right.
he's smooth, man. He's
I
smooth.
mean, he got Jamie's friendship with giving him free fried chicken.
he figured, and he probably didn't even want me as a friend, but he didn't know.
said-
He made a friend.
Watch why I make friends with this black guy. Hey, what's up, chicken?
He
was like,
when I saw Jamie, I didn't say a black guy.
What did you think
I was
when
like,
you first met me?
just you didn't even grow yet. You
No,
were like,
I was really
Jamie
short.
couldn't even see.
So you were like, "Who's this short, racially
who's this
ambiguous guy?"
Hey, we got a midget out here,
What
man.
race is he?
There's a midget by the drive-thru. I'm not no midget, man.
Kind of like when you look at least you don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I know because
I'm saying like if you didn't know,
Right.
you'd be curious. Like what race
definitely
is that?
curious.
I could tell you're biracial though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm not though. I'm multiracial.
yeah, but I can at least
bias too.
two. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But I could see that he's mixed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely knew he was mixed.
Yeah.
You know, I was the first time I saw you actually was I think it was after football practice. You were crossing the parking lot. This is when it was the old school.
Okay, the high school.
Yeah, and then I saw you again at the drive-thru. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you're the new
You're
new
like,
dude.
yo, yeah, you go to my school.
You
right?
want some chicken?
I'm gonna give him some.
You didn't even
chicks.
ask me. He didn't even ask. Like he was just like he looked out the drive-thru. I was in the car with my mom, and he goes, hey man, you go to my school, right? And I was like, yeah, we just moved here. And then he's like, okay, that's what's up. He didn't say that's what's up because that wasn't the slang yet. Whatever you said.
So that's fresh.
Word up. Hey, cool cat. Word up, young feller. But then we looked in the food and he put a whole bunch of the chicken little sandwiches.
Hooked the bub.
Hooked us up.
I hooked the bub.
Put his number in. They said willing to be friends.
Friends ever since.
Yeah, we've been friends ever since, man. And at that point we had no idea we were gonna sing together.
Didn't.
No idea we were gonna spend our entire lives together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like we've known each other longer than we haven't known each other.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Teenage
I
years,
never
man.
even thought of it like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
You guys are getting old, man. You don't have the gray hairs yet. My mom don't even have
Oh,
hair.
I don't have hair on my face, but I do have grays coming in.
Yeah.
We embrace it.
Yeah, we embrace it.
Embrace the age.
I wouldn't mind like the whole white hair thing. I think that
It looks dapper
that'd be cool.
if it's all full.
What?
If it's like, if you're
I am thinning a
I'm
little
saying,
bit.
no,
of
I'm
it.
saying if you're doing like the white comb over, like with the big bald spot in the middle, it's not so.
Oh yeah.
It's not so.
Sometimes
cool.
I diet. Sometimes I diet. Depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I
Man,
can't
we-
do nothing about the top.
Right.
You know.
Man,
I
you
could
gotta
grow
try
that
that.
weird ponytail.
You gotta try that true hair growth. Have you
I got
tried
you.
that yet?
I haven't had time to, because Dave wants me to do a video. So I was probably gonna do that this weekend
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah,
So
you should
that,
do it.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah, because he's got a TikTok going.
Yeah.
Like they're getting some traction. So
I want to cut my hair first though. So
Okay.
I might get my hair cut really nice.
yeah. Okay. And
Before
then
I do it, because my hair is woofing right now.
yeah, he's got me doing some. He's got some ideas. He got me doing right now. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be, it's gonna be funny. It's some comedy stuff.
Yeah?
yeah. And he wants me to record some lyrics and some vocals. So it's gonna be
Just let yourself.
yo exactly.
I understand.
It's a parody.
Listen, I know exactly where this is going.
That's one of the ideas is a parody.
He is half black, so
Yeah.
he know.
Yeah, but he's not American black.
I'm not American black.
He didn't grow up
Yeah,
with
you're
Soul
right.
Glow.
Yeah.
He didn't see that till he
When-
was.
when-
how
yeah,
old
when did you
was the
watch
first
that?
time you were 14 when you first saw?
Wow.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No.
It's not that bad
Yeah.
because I don't.
I got that.
I don't
that-
even think my wife watched it yet.
No.
No, she did.
Shit. Well, I think it's like the movie is that movie is culturally relevant no matter I think it transcends, even though you don't have to be American to enjoy that.
Yeah.
You get the dynamic of the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's a universal,
And he's not American. He's coming.
He's not
to
American
America.
and
He's
it's
a foreign guy.
Yeah, you could totally relate to
Yeah,
that.
so you can relate.
Yeah.
Or did you guys feel that like when you were first watching that movie? Were you like, "Yo, I
Some
get
parts.
this guy. Like I
Some
get
parts.
this the feeling out of
Not coming to look for a wife.
fish out." I'm saying like fish out
I
of water
should- for a
syndrome.
wife?
Fish out of water syndrome, where it's like
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
fully understand the culture yet, and you're trying to connect in certain ways.
Don't fully understand, and America is viewed as number one. So
Yeah.
you're trying to immerse yourself in this society, which is people miss this in Coming to America.
Yeah,
Is Eddie Murphy played this African character, but he goes to the hood
yeah,
and he shows that side of it,
right.
and how awkward they are there. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
how most foreigners are anyway.
Yeah,
They don't know. Like you see Indians in Brooklyn at a gas station selling and they're cussing out like thug dudes.
Yeah.
When you give them small change.
But the funny thing is, the dynamic of him being a prince and thinking he like. The writing is so great. Like we don't get movies like that anymore.
no,
He wants
it's
to go
not.
to Queens to find his
Right,
queen,
right.
not knowing that Queens
He
is
is a
the
passport
ghetto.
bro.
Yeah, he's the opposite.
He's always-
So we should write a movie from your perspective. Like
Right.
we'll embellish it because it didn't happen, but because you're the opposite of how he came here. Y'all came from being dirt poor,
Yeah.
really. So man, and you come to a town that's Voorhees is known to be like a ritzy town.
Yeah.
So imagine we embellish on that a little bit and do the exact opposite, where it's like a poor kid from the bush lands in like Beverly Hills or something. And has
Jamie writes this script. I'm gonna have flies on me. to sell this.
That's right. Yeah.
I never had a hippo.
We never introduced our
Yeah, we didn't get into it.
our
It's all right.
lovely.
And let me give a shout out
producer.
to I see Papa Jeff in the chat. I see Uncle Denny in the chat.
What
saying
up,
what's
Uncle
up.
Denny?
Shout
What
out
up,
to you
Pop?
guys. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button and sharing
Mike
the video.
Purcell, what's up, bro?
What's up, Mike? Yeah, but we got to give a shout out to our producer who's been filling in for my mom. She's still in Florida taking care of her mother. My grandmom is over there, and she's 93, 94 at this point, and still hanging on.
Long life.
And my mom went out there to, just help take care of her. There's a lot going on there. So she's been out there for almost a month now. And not knowing when she's coming back. So in the meantime, we got my lovely daughter filling in, producing over there, Miss Elise Evans. Show them who you are. Yay. And
Sweet as all get out.
yep. But she loves the content that we talk about. She's always talking to me about the stuff she saw on YouTube or, yeah, she mainly watches YouTube. But yeah, shout out to her. And then I am trying to hold it down, hosting over here. Like we were saying earlier, the guy that is mixed, but you're just not quite sure.
You're not sure.
But he looks like somebody you might know or somebody in your family, and you're like, hey, is that Steph Curry? Is that?
Every light skinned guy or a white guy with red beard.
Yep,
That's
that's
it.
me. And my name is Jamie Evans over here.
If he's ever at a lumberjack competition, we would be confused. That's fine.
Yeah, the lumberjack thing, man. Man, this screen keeps cutting in and out, and it's annoying me because it's shifting my screen over. So, where you guys want to start? Do you guys want to start talking about the tariff situation? Do you guys want to start talking about the space mission?
Space mission, then go to tariffs.
Okay,
What space mission?
exactly. Okay.
Come on, Pop. We need you. We need to hear what you feel about this.
Let's hear what you feel, because there's a lot of stuff going. I saw Courtney. Shout out to Courtney. I don't know if she's watching right now, but I'm unplugging this because this is annoying me. I don't know if she's watching right now, but she sent me something earlier about how the Shade Room. Let me see if I can pull it up. People in the Shade Room were roasting them at all the comments. Hold on. She follows them very heavily.
Uncle Denny said, "Beautiful smile."
Oh,
Talking about you, Lacey. She said, "Oh, oh."
so here we go. So you can pull this up, please, Lise. So it says, "Wow, Blue Origin releases space footage from company's first all-female launch." And the thing I love about this, like, that they're marketing this as like this female space mission, but none of them had nothing to do with the space mission, and there was no mission.
Right.
It was just like a
They're
trip.
just passengers.
Didn't the whole thing take like 10 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah.
So they just rode on a spaceship, quote unquote, allegedly. And
Little green screen action, you're trying to say here?
listen, we don't know.
I don't know.
There's some
action.
There's some suspicious stuff going on, but yeah. Then they floated in space for a minute and did a bunch of. Let's watch this little cringy video here.
Very
Some audio.
very edited.
Hold on.
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn.
Flynn, can I get that?
Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon.
That's amazing. Wow, look at the blue line.
my gosh.
Oh my goddess.
Wow.
Oh my goddess. She says, "Oh my goddess."
Oh my goodness.
So,
Lord of mercy.
did they show any footage of them like traveling there, like inside the capsule? I haven't seen any of that.
No,
haven't
but the
seen-
memes have been excellent.
Yeah, the memes have been amazing, but I'm just curious, like, as to why we never see that footage. Like, why don't they ever just the same camera that's on them right now?
Well,
why
when you
wasn't it
realize
on
it was
them?
an all-female driving it. There was
Yeah.
a guy.
There's a guy in there.
Like them shooting up. I did see something with I guess the missile. I don't know if it was that.
The rocket.
Yeah.
We saw the rocket take off. They filmed
But-
that, but I'm saying
but they didn't
inside.
film inside,
Like,
yeah.
why wouldn't there be able to be footage of that whole thing?
And that's like straight up time edited.
Yeah.
You know, what they wanted to see.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
This is edited footage. This
It's-
wasn't just like.
It's very weird.
Yeah. So let's look at some of the comments from the Shade Room. These are hilarious. So first comment is, "Man, they in Universal Studios. Goodbye and good night." Second comment says, "They filmed this at Tyler Perry Studios." Next comment, "They in there BSing with my tax money." So you mean to tell me space ain't nothing but 15 minutes up the road? They done left and came home quicker than a 9 to 5. Yeah, it's just tons of comments, just roasting. And
So-
I think they didn't expect this response from people because they were expecting everyone to be in like all of this, but it just seemed like a whole waste of time and like this grandstanding nonsense.
Yeah. Like what was it for? You know what I mean?
The news outlets were saying like there was data collected. What data?
Yeah.
Who collected it? Like, you can't just say there was data collected. Data about what?
Right.
Like, data about how long it took them for the trip to like, of course
Right.
they're going to collect that data.
So did NASA have anything to do with this?
No, this is
This
Jeff
is just
Bezos.
Bezos,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then them
Playing with his money.
even the language. If it is all female, why isn't there a real all female astronauts.
Yeah.
If they're making it sound like they actually flew there themselves, a
Yeah.
whole female crew.
Yeah.
No, you're a bunch of celebrities. You're
Yeah.
not.
You guys have-
you're passengers.
You guys have no
You're not-
idea.
you're not part. If they had to steer that thing back down to Earth, it'd be trouble.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Is he trying to like? I don't know, like what he's trying to do. Is he trying to make it like something that you can buy to go shoot up?
That's not what they're advertising as. They were advertising it as, this epic all-female space mission. First
Yeah,
time in
NASA
history.
NASA has been losing money for years. So
Yeah.
between Elon, SpaceX, and him, he's trying to position himself as, the same thing.
I mean, it is crazy that NASA gets all that money from us and they can't.
haven't done
They
anything.
haven't done anything.
They can't
like
even
that.
figure out
Like,
how to get back to the moon.
Yeah,
Right.
for real. That's what a lot of people.
Common pop.
A lot of the memes.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
A lot of the memes have been about that, where it's like they're talking about the first all female space mission and how this is like a major achievement, and like, what about the guys that flew all the way to the moon and
Or
stepped foot on
why
the
didn't they
moon?
get actual female astronauts?
What about the people that were just
They
stuck
did-
in space for like
Well-
8 months that they had to that Elon Musk had to rescue?
Right.
Like we didn't get this much publicity with them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't fly there. You know what I'm saying? They were
No.
like passengers if
Yeah.
they even went there.
If
you
they
know what I
went
mean?
there?
Well,
to risk
Gail
their life,
Gail
yeah.
King has something to say about all of you guys that's saying that they just took a space ride. You ready to hear it?
No.
What do you think when people say, oh, it's frivolous? Number one, they call it a ride, which I find very irritating because they never say men went for a ride. What do you say to people?
Because men actually had to do things and risk their lives and go to the moon and like the Apollo 13 mission, all these things, like people died, ships exploded. She talking about thank you. She talking about they never say it's just a ride when men go. This is totally different than what the men did.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
People who think that this was frivolous or just a ride. I think the message that it sends is very, very powerful. And the people that say that, by the way, weren't there. What do you think when people say, oh, it's
So you weren't there, and it's very misogynist of you to say that they just went for a ride, buddy. Okay.
Well, she's trying to quell the criticism by saying it's an attack on females.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when they say stuff like all female crew, you're not really you're not.
You're not a crew.
You're
They,
not-
they
you're not
didn't,
astronaut.
they
You're
didn't
not a
learn how
crew.
to
They're
operate the
astronauts.
ship. They don't
you
know
are
how
a
to.
passenger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If me and you went up, I'm in the same boat you as you. I'm a passenger too.
That's what I was just
Right.
about to say. If it was Justin Timberlake that was in there with them, I would have
Yeah,
said
it
the
wouldn't
same
be-
thing. You a
They
passenger,
got to stop
bruh.
this like men versus women thing because
Yep.
it's stupid. It's like if like you said, if Justin Timberlake and Bon Jovi went up there, we wouldn't be like, oh my god, those pilots.
Right. These
No.
guys
Like,
are
you
geniuses.
They're
No.
just a bunch of celebrities who obviously it's marketing.
Now,
What?
I was gonna say I would have been impressed if I saw them doing the whole operating
Yeah.
thing or whatever they got to
Right.
do.
Because they're claiming they had to do all this training.
Yeah.
What type of training? Learn how to float, guys. Like, let's teach you. Like,
take us.
This goes back to what we've been talking about for a long time. I think the wonderment of legacy media, they still think it exists.
yeah,
They really do.
they do. Especially like Gail.
there's no
You're
way
talking
they
about
don't.
Katy Perry.
There's no way they
Jeff
don't.
Bezos' fiance was more worried about how the outfit fit on her
Right.
than anything else.
That's what it is. It's
Yo, her face, bro. I'm sorry to say, dude. Like that is mad plastic.
Yeah, she been chopping it up.
I don't think they realize that this generation, not only are we not impressed, because I think they don't think that we saw when Red Bull sent that guy up there and
Yeah.
he jumped out. We've seen a bunch of middle-aged ladies jump in a thing floating around.
Yeah.
It's not that impressive.
Right.
To them, maybe it is, but I think the way they're trying to market it, I don't think that they really grasp the concept that the idea of the wonderment of these quote-unquote achievements are not really wonderment to this generation.
Of course not, because calling this an achievement is like saying,
Yeah, Elizabeth Holmes was a genius.
no, like to me, it's like, okay, so we've already sailed around the entire globe in a ship, right? So that's like someone gets a ship and sails around North America, and we're like, wow, what an achievement. It's like,
But this time it's ladies.
It's all women. It's a cast
it's like
of
we've
all women.
already done more than that. Like, why are we celebrating this so much? Like, we've
It's
already
legacy media, man. They just won't go away. They don't get it.
yeah.
They really don't.
A 10-minute space trip. Speaking of legacy media and this interview with a quote-unquote astronaut, Dr. May C. Jemison, listen to what she says and how she corrects this guy. And we're talking about, this whole feminist push and this whole idea of ladies.
So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting
Humankind,
the
I'm sorry.
mankind and the man-made
Oh,
and the
God.
man mission, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
How is it? You're just sending some ladies in tight clothes to space.
Yeah.
Like-
And that's the thing, is there's no issues with actual female
Astronauts. No one cares.
It's the grandstanding and the verbiage and the language that they're constantly trying to push. It's like,
She
cut it
just
out.
corrected mankind into humankind. Did she say humankind?
Yes. Yes,
Is
she
it
did.
man and human?
Yeah. Human.
Human. Yeah, still under the patriarchy. Still got her. So I just want to show you guys the video of the capsule landing and tell me like your thoughts on this. Because apparently they're in this capsule and it is descending at like 700 miles an hour or something like that.
Okay.
Watch this.
You will see a puff of smoke when it touches down. A puff of dust. That should be, yes, that's normal. A puff of dust.
I love how they
lasts
always
milliseconds.
narrate it to brace you for
Air
like.
cushion that will kick up the dust. It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
Oh, that was a very soft. Did that look like a soft landing to you, bro? I don't know. Like, did that look like a soft landing?
The sporty perception. There.
The thing bounced.
What was that noise?
I think that was someone screaming, but it's just the way it bounced and like all the smoke. And they try to prepare you ahead of time with there's gonna be a puff of smoke, and it's gonna be a very soft landing, and then you watch the thing bounce off the earth.
So
And
they're trained for that? Like who's narrating that?
I don't know.
There's nobody
So
in
they
there.
know
Yeah, I don't know who's narrating that.
they've done this like before.
I guess I thought they usually drop them in the ocean.
Usually.
And recover them from the ocean, right?
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
Cape Canaveral.
Yeah. That I never seen it just smack off the ground like that. Maybe Pops can.
Pop
chime
said
in.
this is the first time he's heard about this.
What? This has been big news for like a whole week.
Yeah, Uncle Denny said, did they even have spacesuits?
No, they didn't.
No, they had tight.
They
They had
had X-Men
tights,
outfits.
X-Men, blue X-Men outfits.
Like they were form fitting. Like they had to get them tailor made. There was no scientific
breathing
function to them
apparatus, no
outfits at all. They
Yeah.
wanted to look sexy.
Yeah,
All their hair was done. Did you see that when they got on the ship? Like all their hair was like done.
strong, feminist, bad girl.
Yep.
Come on, man. Courtney said, just show the green screen already.
So I'm going to show y'all one more clip from this just to kind of sum things up. Another reason why people are saying this is staged and fake. So this is them getting ready to exit the craft, right? And people are noticing a little discrepancy in the way the capsule was supposed to be, because these capsules are supposed to be sealed from the outside to stop it from leaking. They're out in space. There's supposed to be no way for it to let in outside air pressure because it could kill everybody. So these things are supposed to be sealed from the outside, and Jeff Bezos is going to go and open the seal for the first time and let them out. And let's take a look at this.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to do a really quick video on this
gonna speed this
staged Katy Perry to space hoax. Aside of all the other proofs of this hoax, I just want to show you this really, really quick one that happened during the live footage of the opening of the hatch. Check
Now
this
they
out.
were live streaming this.
You saw her get so emotional in her pre-flight interview that she still is Is that still the weighing emotion, or is she still just, oh my God, I saw the stars, I saw the curvature of the earth? You know, what's going to come out of her mouth, but really her heart?
And is that
You see that right there? You see that right there, James? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody on the inside opens the door, and then this lady goes and tells them to close the door, and then they go back. Now this is being live streamed.
Founder on the left, as well as Sarah Knights, our crew member 7.
Camping tent.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, guys.
Look, and then you see Jeff Bezos looking like, oh, they done messed up.
Did you see that? Let's go back and watch it one more time. Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door open from the inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it. And then, actually, she starts laughing about it, as you can see right here, because, like I said, it's all staged. It has to look like it's open from the
she's laughing.
outside.
And we're now just awaiting
the
opening of the hatch. So
now we're awaiting the opening of the
hatch. Get some views from our 6 new astronauts.
And Jeff Bezos is going over there with his tool to be this big moment where he opens the hatch.
And I would imagine Lauren Sanchez in seat.
But they already opened it
first.
That is correct. They'll go. She's in seat 1, which is next to the left. The left window there.
She's in seat 1. First. They're standing up. I can see them, and they're standing up.
That is the window on the right.
Check. Let's make sure this is sturdy for you, Jeff.
See those vans arriving. Those are friends and family.
Sturdy in there, so you don't trip and fall up these 2 steps.
And that's Carrie Ann looking out the window, in the window to the right there. Lauren Sanchez on the left. And you really get a sense of just how big these windows are. I mean, when you're inside this capsule, it's almost as though you're getting a full 360 panoramic view. One of the cool features of this capsule, the largest windows of any spacecraft.
So over a third of the surface area of this
it's
craft.
This is what we want you to believe.
Yeah.
Believe it, guys. Believe it. Like the constant narrative. Even when the door opens the first time, the woman talking tries to divert your attention over to Jeff Bezos. It's almost like she saw what happened.
Yeah.
You watch it.
Out of her mouth, but really her heart.
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right now?
You see.
Kind of hard to see.
But even that, it's like, we have technology. Why doesn't Jeff have a GoPro right there?
Bro, exactly. Why wasn't there one? Like I said, why didn't we have footage from inside the cabin when they were launching and when they were landing too? Right? So we could see the looks on their faces, like what they were doing. We don't have any of that. We have a clip of them floating around and with their trinkets, and then we have them coming out like this to be greeted by the world as if
it's all female cast, man. Even the
handler there,
the 2 people talking about it.
Yes.
Because so much of the capsule is windows, and it makes for just an incredible experience.
They're trying to make it this big moment. Yeah.
Good? Okay, here we go.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
Here he goes. Look, just all theater. The hatch will already look, and then they opened a little hole. Like.
Okay, now you guys just seen them faking it with your own eyes. Once again, watch them open the pressurized capsule from the inside. Not knowing that it's not time, it's not cue time yet. And then you have the stage part where the media shows you all over the news that they're waiting for the guy to open the hatch.
Good? Okay, here we go.
And this is the clip that everyone on the news played from right here. Yay! They made it! Yay!
And once again, you've been fooled, people.
Yeah, it's so
I don't
annoying.
think there's a lot of people that's not fooled.
A lot of, from everything that I saw on X and like what Courtney sent me on the Shade Room, like people don't believe this. They're like, sounds like none of this makes any sense.
Right.
What was even the point of wasting billions of dollars to just send them?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they forget that Red Bull did this.
Yeah.
And they filmed everything.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Pop said, ever since Gus Gresham was burned up in Apollo 1, they were able to open from the inside in case of emergencies.
Well, when you look at the specs on this capsule, it says that it's unable to be opened from the inside. That was one of the things.
Did you hear that, Pop?
That was one of the things that they actually showed and mentioned that it was not supposed to be able to be opened from the inside. So I don't know about that, Pops. And if you look into that Gus Grisham case about why he was burnt, what happened there, even his wife, until the day that she died, she said that they murdered him because he was speaking out against. I remember there was a story about how he was talking to the media. He did a press conference, and he talked about how he went up to the shuttle and he hung a lemon from the doorway because he was saying this thing will never get to the moon. He was saying like this technology, whatever we're doing, is not working. Mm-hmm. And he was speaking to the media, holding press conferences, saying like we're decades behind where we said we were going to be. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, he ends up burning up in some freak accident inside the capsule.
Oh boy!
And his wife, from having conversation with him, had always openly said that she believed that they did that to him on purpose because of the stuff that he was saying. Mm. There's a great interview with what's the guy, Seabrill?
Who's that?
The guy that did Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, the documentary. Bert Seabrill or Bart Seabrill, something like that. Candace Owens interviewed him. He was on Joe Rogan as well. They both interviewed him, and he has all this evidence. He did a whole documentary about it because he actually got footage. He actually came across a tape from NASA in like the 90s, I think it was, or the 80s, where he found that they were faking, like straight up 100%, they faked one of the transmissions that they did back in the day. And like the way that people try to downplay it is they say, well, they were just faking that just for the media so they could have something to give to the public. But they were faking how far they were from the Earth. They were trying to pretend like they were halfway to the moon and they were still like in low Earth orbit. And the way they did it was they took one of the windows inside the capsule that they were in, like how they had those big windows there, and they took a bunch of cardboard and the Earth fills up the entire window because you're in low Earth orbit, right? So what they did was they moved the camera to the back of the capsule and they cover the window with a bunch of cardboard to make it look like this sphere, and then they darken the entire capsule and move to the back and say that the camera's right up against the window. And he shows it, like, because after the transmission they say it's over, they think that they didn't shut the camera off yet, and then you see them go to the window and move it. They're, like, the footage is, I actually can find it. I can find it. Mm. Yeah, let me see.
Are you listening, Pop?
And it's just like when you do stuff like that,
it makes people not trust, NASA.
Yeah, it does. Let me see. Is this it?
Allen belts. Heard.
It's the whole documentary. I think this might be the whole documentary. I don't know where it's at. Let me see.
Also,
I know this is there somewhere.
It's all right. We don't have to go off track.
I know. I just wanted to show this because I know it sounds like I'm just like making up something, but this was actually from footage that he got a hold of, that they had thought that they destroyed, and he put it in this documentary. If you listen to his story, it's crazy. Like, he got followed by CIA. He got his life threatened multiple times. They tried to come after him in so many ways. Let me see.
That's what happened to the information to go to the moon too, right? They said that it got destroyed.
Yes.
Or they destroyed it.
All the telemetry data.
Oh, no.
Oh, here it is. Here it is right here.
Looking back. When in fact, this is a circular window of the spacecraft, outside of which
seen this footage, right?
is the Earth and low Earth orbit. Now, originally I said it's kind of part of the Earth out the window, which it does look like, but another cinematographer pointed out is what they did is they took a transparent photograph, like a slide or an X-ray that was color. They put it over the circular window. So it's a circular window and, of course, the circular earth. And they've backlit it with earthshine. Now, this is still the window. You can see the little, 2 to 3 inch indentation here, like on a ship, because it's a, pressurized bulletproof window, I presume. And first of all, if they're halfway to the moon, there would be a radio delay. So it would take 2 seconds for the radio signal to go out, 2 seconds for them to come back. They're actually in Earth orbit. This is, you'll see clear proof in a second here why they're still in Earth orbit, or proof that they are. They can't leave Earth orbit for a number of reasons. They don't have enough fuel. They don't have. As where
He
they
gets really long
talk.
with it.
That's on the top of the with the circular window.
Here we go.
Now,
so now
when I saw this,
this is when
I said,
this is when they started moving the cameras and putting the cabin back to where they once the transmission was over.
Look at this. Oh my goodness. So if that's really the Earth floating in space, that must be the arm of God going right in front of it. Oh my goodness. So this is the smoking gun. This is them faking being halfway to the moon. Okay? There they are getting ready, and there they open the iris, and there's Michael Collins, and there's the very bright Earth out the window.
Now you see that? Did you see that? I don't know if you could see that because the way
I want to look at that one more time. In fact, let's just make that big screen.
There we go. Thank you.
It's really not the Earth floating in space. It's really a special.
They filmed it like this when they were broadcasting to make it look like, we're this far away from the Earth. Earth looks tiny in the background. Right?
Yeah.
And they're telling everybody we're halfway to the moon right now.
Special effect with the circular
you see
window.
that light in the corner there?
When I saw this,
inside the shuttle.
I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, they really didn't go to the moon." Just like Bill Casing said, I called him up. I'm like, oh my gosh, they really didn't go to the moon. They really didn't go to the moon. I have them faking being halfway to the moon, right? They're only faking being halfway because they couldn't go halfway. Do you understand that? Which proves they didn't go to the moon. If they're faking being halfway to the moon, it's because they can't go halfway to the moon, which means they didn't go to the moon. And what a surprise. 50 years later, the same thing. They cannot leave Earth orbit 50 years later. And
now, if you want to go and see that full footage without him talking over and interrupting it, you can see it. Like, it literally shows how they just... And the documentary is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And it breaks down how they did all of that and shows, like, them totally faking that footage of being halfway to the moon, which, like, I don't know why you would need to do that. It just makes a lot of things seem suspect. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, I know it's just sus to me, man.
Yeah,
we're years and years from us going to the moon in our little bucket cars that we had at that time.
Yeah, Yeah, we had,
and they were able to go.
Look at everything we can do now. Live
Yeah.
streaming, the cell phones we have, computers, the technology that we have now.
Yes.
But yet we've gone backwards when it goes to that.
Yes.
That is the only technology in the history of the world that has gone backwards. It's strange.
Show me.
It's strange. Okay, so let's move on from that. What was the next thing we were going to talk about, guys? Tariffs, yes. So, I mean, this tariff war has been going crazy right now. So we're going back and forth with China.
Shots fired.
Shots have been fired. I think China is like desperately trying to hold on to their power with all their might. They're trying everything they can. Trying to retaliate and all this stuff. Even I don't know if you guys have been seeing all the TikTok influencers trying to like go direct to consumer. I'm gonna show a little bit of that. But the tariff situation is crazy because a lot of people don't understand how much of our manufacturing, how much of our intellectual property we've just kind of given over to China and allowed them to basically manipulate and extort us because we sold it off for cheap labor back in the 80s and 90s.
Politicians and businessmen.
Yeah, they realized they could have bigger profit margins by selling off labor overseas because China doesn't have the same labor codes and unions and labor laws that we have over here. And so,
Dude, I was thinking about that too. This is kind of, I don't know if it's off subject, but you know how like during our time they were just like pushing, go to college, go to college, go to college, and you know, you working in manufacturing and you know doing that type of stuff, keeping the jobs here.
Yeah.
You think it was a big like more of like a grander scheme of things? Like
It could,
Americans
man.
are we're too good to be working like that, and then you know now fast forward now we don't make nothing, and that's the one thing that's good about COVID. It showed us how much we relied. We didn't make anything, dude.
Yeah.
From the mask, any of the PPE that we needed, you know, during
Even pharmaceutical drugs that we needed,
All
we
the
couldn't
drugs,
get. I
yep.
mean, I was telling you about the interview I did with Bernard Browner. He was saying how they couldn't get glue for his hair. Like they couldn't get glue for hair products. They couldn't get
Yeah.
anything.
So it's like I feel like it was like this big push. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's been decades of us selling out our manufacturing, selling out those our basically our labor infrastructure to China.
Which we got to put this in perspective. China didn't break into this country and did that.
Yeah.
Our politicians and our leaders and professors and people and the elite did this.
They made deals.
You know,
Yeah.
so I know it's easy to blame China for
Yeah.
unfair practices, but they didn't do anything that they weren't allowed to do.
Right.
They took advantage of.
well, they did in a sense of like we were talking about it, how they don't follow any type of rules.
Yeah, but who let
Or
them do
there's
that
no-
though?
Yeah.
So you see, like if I come in your house and I start taking things and you don't
and you don't say anything about it.
well then
Right.
you let me do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could
Yeah.
put a stop to it. I'm just saying that I get why people are frustrated, but one of the things I noticed was this. Our insatiable appetite for consumerism is our problem too. It's so easy to
Absolutely.
blame it's very easy to blame politicians and leaders and listen, the majority of the blame should go to their feet. However, it is our, meaning me too included, us included, our insatiable appetite for mass consumerism, wanting things cheap, just like they're pointing out. Who here believes that they're actually factories in Italy making bags?
Yeah.
Like, no, what happens is those companies, those big companies, all the top name brands will go over there, court a potential supplier. The supplier will list off the things that they can do, and then it's okay, well, listen, we still need to maintain some form of brand integrity. Made in France, made in here, made in Germany, made in... Can we get this? How can we get around this? We sell cabinets, right? The cabinets come from China. They're made CNC, but they're assembled in North Jersey.
Right.
So everything comes knocked down. They put it together in North Jersey, and it says assembled in America. So you can't say made in America.
Yeah, right.
You could say assembled in America. Now, for the people who buy this stuff, they know that, or they're very aware that the products coming from there are very cheap. But they kind of want to see that, how is this made?
Yeah.
So what has happened is these corporations, the politicians, have definitely laid in bed with these other countries, specifically like you just said, for cheap labor. Really what they're trying to avoid is pension, labor costs, workers' comp,
Yeah.
liability.
Health
Those
insurance,
countries,
all that stuff.
that's a massive saving. It's kind of what happened here when you had slaves working for nothing.
Yeah.
Your profit is off the roof. And so you go over to China, you said, you told me about how in the cell phone factories, they put nets
Yeah.
to catch
People that are trying to end their lives.
right,
Yeah.
because they hadn't seen their family in 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, they got this job. They were promised the world. And they're making this technology for us. But because it's so competitive between the brands, Apple, Samsung, all the other brands, they can't afford the technology to be stolen. More importantly, they can't afford the knockoff brands to take off.
Yeah.
So they lock these people in, and if they leave, obviously issues, but some people are so frustrated they're killing themselves.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's so easy to be like, Trump's ruined this and China's doing this. But our insatiable appetite has led to this too.
Yeah, but
You know?
part of that you have to have kind of an understanding for people don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean?
course.
So when you're
Or they do, but they don't care.
no, most people don't know. Most people don't have no idea. Like I'm watching these Chinese, like TikTok over the last week has been flooded with Chinese influencers, of course, because China runs TikTok. So now they're flooding it with all these Chinese influencers telling people how great China is and how it's nothing like you think it is. And like they're showing where they manufacture Hermes and Louis Vuitton and all this stuff and showing you that all this stuff is made in China and this is how much it costs us and this is how much you pay for it. Kind of like exposing it to the world. And people are losing their minds as if they never knew this. And I'm just thinking the whole time, like, y'all really thought that a $35,000 handbag was worth that amount? Like, you really thought that they were using some kind of like alien leather or something? Like, what do you think was going? Like, of course they're marking it up because it's the name that y'all want.
Buying the name.
You're buying the name, but people are really acting like they don't know. And I'm just thinking about when we were younger, and I know from my mom and our parents, like when you're just trying to survive. You're looking for how can I get the most for my money? You don't have a sense. We're not taught that okay, if you shop here, you're supporting this type of economical failure for the future. They don't tell us that. The politicians know that because they're the ones setting up those deals. But they're not telling the public that. They're telling the public that they're doing everything right, that they care about us, that they're trying to get us cheaper prices. That's what they tell us because they lie to us because they want to keep getting elected and they want to keep getting kickbacks from these companies that they're and like look at Biden. He had all these deals with China. He was flying over there with Hunter on what's it called, Air Force 2, making deals with China. All of this stuff selling out our future, selling out our working class to foreigners for cheaper labor and then being able to sell things at a cheaper cost to then improve profit margins. Yeah, it fed and created this monster of consumerism in us. But if you look at years before that, people weren't like that. People were about buying American,
made in America,
saving your money. Like Ford was the number one car company. I think over the years, because of the way they sold out our manufacturing to these countries, it created this consumerism beast that we have now. Because now everything is so cheap, everybody's competing with each other. Like, oh, you got an iPhone, I got to get an iPhone. Like if we had a comparable product that was made in the USA, which Apple's an American company. They should be making that here.
Yeah.
And I saw Tim Cook doing a talk in China, which blew my mind because the Chinese accounts are posting this, right, as propaganda for Americans to see why they're better than us. But he's over there talking about like how, the thing about China that's so great is that you have so much attention to detail with your workers and just the tools that you have of people that can construct our products. If I tried to fill up a room of that in the U.S., it would be hard to find anybody. But I can fill up a whole football stadium here in China. Yeah, that's because y'all created a demand for that over there. If we had a demand for that over here, if people knew that they could feed their family for the rest of their life and get a pension at the end of it because they were building iPhones for their whole life, there would be a ton of people doing that job here. So to make it seem like that we don't have those jobs, we don't have those type of people here, so we had to get them over in China is nonsense, and it's ridiculous.
It is nonsense. You're fluffing us.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pay that pension. You don't want to pay, that health insurance.
There have been documentaries that showed this really took off in the late 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s is when this really took off. But they showed entire towns that were thriving. Not lifestyle of the rich and famous. Nobody's in Rolls Royce or nothing like that.
Right.
But when I'm saying thriving, I'm talking
like
middle class, upper middle class.
Detroit was the number one thriving black city in the country.
They showed these
Look at
towns.
Motown only could exist because black people had money.
Yeah. And Detroit was a thriving city. You
Yeah.
know? They showed that Americans were doing these factory jobs.
Yeah. And doing them well.
Doing them very well. A lot of things were made here. In fact, right up the street, Maytag was making refrigerators right over there.
Yeah.
Made here. They were simple. In fact, when I do most of my remodels, a lot of the old GEs and Maytags and Whirlpool, I'm talking from the 70s, they're still working.
Yeah.
They're so simple, you know what I mean? So it's like there was crafts, there was pride in craftsmanship. What happened a lot of times is like we're saying, the politicians sold us a bill of goods. This is going to be faster, cheaper goods, and it is cheaper.
Yeah,
it really is cheaper.
But at what cost? That's what we weren't told. We weren't able to weigh that out. I mean, in a sense, and you sent me something that you wanted to talk about, and this kind of goes into that a little bit. I mean, the boomers really failed us.
They did.
Because they sold us out in so many ways. We
didn't understand the kickbacks they were getting.
Yeah.
We didn't understand how they were leveraging their, what's a consultant? What's a contractor?
Yeah.
We don't know what that is.
Right.
Well, you're just teaching them. You're basically going, I know a guy, actually, who's traveled to India and China, and he said he basically teaches them how to market and manufacture and how to speed up the process. He just teaches them that. Plus, I don't think a lot of people saw this. One thing, because we're not versed in geography and really looking into how land development is, I'm talking about our society now. They showed a footage of China from the 90s in sped up and how quickly it developed.
Yeah.
Right? And then they subsequently showed footage of Detroit.
Yeah.
And how quickly it dilapidated.
Yeah, yep.
And I think that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
Because this is the disconnect, right? We are so consumed with our life, football, basketball, baseball, our promotion, our new car. We don't really care how we get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want it. So
I'm going to get mine.
I'm going to get mine. So
Yeah.
now when you see footage like this and you're like, wow, this is only China really blew up within the last 30 years.
Yeah, that's when all of this started going down under Clinton.
It was amazing to see how quick China has blown up.
Yeah.
And they're doing it now in another way, which is going over to these other countries.
Yeah.
In Africa, South America, I know, and Guyana, they're building a giant bridge. They discovered oil in Guyana.
Yeah.
And what the Chinese are doing is something a little different. They're not doing where the Americans would go in and dethrone a dictator, quote unquote dictator, whoever they said is a dictator, and supplant him with whoever they want. They're not doing that. What the Chinese are doing, that's a little different, well, a lot different, is they're coming in and they're dealing with the governments. Not saying that they're any less corrupt.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're basically saying, hey, we'll build you roads, hospital. We want access to the minerals. Now, there's really 3 countries that are capable of massive civil engineering. Number 1, USA.
Yeah.
Number 2, Russia. And number 3 is China.
Yeah.
In terms of massive civil, we can change your society.
Yeah.
Because even in Dubai, most of the subcontractors are Russian.
Yeah.
Or Chinese, and their labor force is Indian.
Yeah.
And Filipinos. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, I know.
But basically, what China is doing now, instead of coming in to cause civil unrest, where it's like, hey, we got to get rid of this dictator, he's killing everybody. What they're doing is they're coming in and saying, hey, we'll give you new roads, new hospitals, because they know that they're running out of space themselves.
Yeah.
And so all that consumerism, they're already thinking of the next 50 years, and we're not.
Well, what it is it's a new futuristic form of colonization that they figured out.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is they'll build you these roads and these hotels. They're sending their people.
We're staying.
They're not using local workers for that.
No, I've seen plenty of video of them beating Africans.
They're sending their people there and setting up towns, building apartment complexes, and they're staying there.
Which is why what we were talking when I texted you that stuff about the baby boomers.
Yeah.
See, they know that. They know this, but they're good because they're getting their bonus and their kickbacks is astronomical.
Well, that's why they're so pissed off about these tariffs, because what did it do? It tanked the markets, where a lot of their retirement funds that they've been, eating off of and they're so proud of, so they can get 3 boats and 3 vacation homes and
They've sold us out.
All that stuff took a hit, so they're pissed, But yeah, I think they sold us out in a lot of different ways. They own all of the real estate. Gen Z can't even get real estate now. And I think us as like the beginning of the millennial generation, we kind of like are in this weird space where we had to kind of figure things out over again. And that's why we kind of been like on this journey of finding new information and not listening to our parents anymore. Because it was kind of like, man, we saw all the ways that they kind of just went with the flow and let the politicians, let the government steer them on this path that we're on now, where we don't make anything.
Right, and we also forget that a lot of the boomers, the generation that we're in, especially the What's I say it again?
Millennials.
Millennials, right?
Millennials.
So to me, it's like this. Think about what they replaced that work ethic that they had to go out and be consultants and be contractors. They replaced that with the gig jobs. If you think about what gig jobs are driving for Uber Eats, DoorDash.
Yeah.
You could have fun. Whenever I see the commercial, it's an androgynous guy or girl, and they're playing a guitar.
Yeah.
Who has time to do this?
Yeah, right.
You could play guitar and then go deliver food when you want. So it's like, what type of career or life are you going to have?
There's no retirement in that.
There's no retirement in
There's
that.
no 401k at Uber.
So that's what they did. They are very aware that this is going to lead to a lot of depression.
Yeah.
And people they're never going to get out of this hole. You cannot pay off a college loan driving Uber Eats,
right,
or doing any of this stuff. You just can't.
Well, think about it. You just said something, touched on something very key there. Which generation is suffering the most from anxiety, ADHD, depression, all of these weird, like when you see all of these leftists with
they lead with it.
Pink hair, purple hair. No, it starts with the millennials, like the
the
later millennials,
later millennials,
the later millennials that kind of like caught the brunt of it. You know, like they are really struggling because of that. And I don't know if you guys saw this study showing that they're finding out that ADHD was made up. It just came out.
It's just a coping.
It's like a coping thing that they just. So all these people that they were. Now you're talking about an overdrugged generation as well. Like our generation was the first ones to start getting all the vaccines, start getting all the drugs when they're kids. But
mental conditioning too.
Yes, absolutely. Right. So now it's like they wonder why everyone is manic, why everyone can't focus, why everyone has ADHD or on Adderall or Ritalin or, you know, and it's the who are the parents that allowed all this to happen?
But don't you think they do this on purpose so they can say, these people are lazy, they don't work, we have to go overseas.
Yeah.
We have to go to immigrant cheap labor. Because if they can highlight the difference between, like, have you guys seen the AI tracking tool where it showed a barista, I'm not going to say the company's name, but it showed the barista is making a coffee and it's tracking her, and it's tracking another employee. The one employee makes 20 cups, she makes 3.
I haven't seen this.
And so they're tracking it, and they're like, this is a great way to kind of track productivity. Well, they're ushering this age of you getting comfortable with the idea that in order to make your quota or get paid, you need to perform this way because you're lazy and you're good for nothing.
Right.
You know, so if they get you already, they get you programmed to believe that, get used to the idea of being watched constantly.
Yeah.
And
I mean, isn't that what China does?
That's what they do.
That's how they get.
That's what they do.
That's how they get the efficiency that they get.
But they're getting us used to it.
Right.
Because how they're selling it, I'm going to tell you another thing I learned. I learned this from my business. How they're selling it is not to us, the employee or the consumer. They're selling it to the business owner.
Of course.
Right? So the business owner's like, hell yeah, I want to track them down.
Right.
When I had my own business, a company for payroll and I'm not gonna say their name.
Yeah.
But the one of their sell was this. And Mr. Garcia, one of the great features is this. With AutoPay, all you have to do is turn around the scanner and say, would you like to close out your bill?
Yeah.
And on there is the tip option.
Yeah, yeah.
People feel guilty. Now, the lady who was selling me, she did me the consultation. She said, and it is true, she said, our research shows that 80% of the time people feel guilty and will still, even if it's 10%, but that 10% by the end of the year per customer. So it's a sell to me, right? Or to, because think about it. When were we tipping? When did we tip before we got our food? Never.
No. Never.
When we were younger, there was no tipping before you got your food.
No.
You tell someone, you flip a screen around and say, okay, how much would you like to tip? And you haven't got anything yet.
So they don't ever say how much would you like to tip. And I think they're taught this by the people that sell those devices. They just say, okay, it's going to ask you a question.
Yeah, no.
That's what they say, right? Because
right.
it's like this manipulation where it's like, I'm not pushing you to tip me, but it's going to ask you a question that you have to answer.
Right.
So before you can end this transaction, you have to answer this question.
That's all part of it. That's all part of it. Because she
hold
really
up.
pushed
I want to
it.
show this because I had this just in case it came up, pull this up, please, for me, please. I saw someone tweeted this, and I want to get y'all thoughts on if you saw something like this. Look at this screen.
I can't see.
You can't see what it says. It says
30.
It says leave a tip, not optional.
Not optional. I've never seen that.
Not optional. It's rude not to. And then the options are 30, 35, and 50.
Wow.
What?
What would
crazy.
you do if you went somewhere and saw this screen?
Peace.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm hitting that custom button and putting 0.
I told that story. I told that story on here before. I was in the airport. I forgot where we going. It was out
Self checkout.
It was a self checkout.
And you had the tip?
Nobody there. I was doing myself. Go through the prompt. Tip option. I'm like,
who are you tipping?
Who am I
tipping? I'm doing this myself.
Right.
I'm just tipping the company at this point. Like, what?
Yeah.
For you providing
But
these products.
The idea here is that she obviously is trying to get me to buy.
Yeah.
Because when I signed up, I'm signing up for a year plus. And if you sign up today and you do 2 years, you get this much deal. So part of the sell for them, that's what I'm saying, it's the whole consumerism, the idea of let's make more money.
Yeah.
All of that has trapped us all.
Yeah.
Because for me, as a business owner, I just didn't do it because I didn't want to spend the extra money on it. Because I'm like, no one's going to tip me after I charge them 20 grand for a bathroom.
Right.
Well, James, time for your tip.
Right.
Get the hell out of here.
It's like, well, I'll be expecting another 20% on top of that. Like, what?
20% tip. But the way they make it sound and sell to us and this younger generation is you could live off of the tips.
Yeah.
You could, you know what I mean? And Trump is saying that too. He's like, no tax on tips too. So people are like, they're going to push even harder for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying, here's the thing. We got to the point where all of a sudden the expectation to give me something with minimal work is like at its all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All-time high.
Yeah.
And these other countries don't have that expectation.
Yeah. Like,
so they know. So
when you're in another country, them people are hustling 24/7.
So it's going to be easy for the elites to say, these Americans are lazy.
Yeah.
They don't want to work. They don't want nothing. So we got to have AI. We got to have robots. We got to have these things.
Yeah.
Because look at who we're competing with. But they've literally programmed you to not even want to work hard. You expect a tip.
Yeah.
How many videos I've seen where people come to people's house for DoorDash and they don't get a tip and they're slamming people's food. They're cursing them out.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is entitlement.
Dude, I've seen crazy videos like that. But the other thing is when you're dousing kids with seed oils and sugars and high fructose corn syrup their whole beginning of their lives, you're creating fat, sloppy, lazy bums. Like that. Now you have to overcome the entire terrible diet that our kids are consuming from the time that they're born. Like you have to. So now and then when they don't pay attention in school, now you're medicating them. And then when they don't score good in class, now they're in special. It's like there's so many ways that I think we're being, like you said, we're being led to the slaughter in this way.
It seems convenient. It seems convenient. I think that's what we're missing as Americans. We're missing that these things that seem like modern convenience, these things that seem like it's just technology. Like even a season, sorry, made a joke. He's like, the joke was, it was actually China. He said, we need to get these bastards' face. How do we do it? He's like, we should just tell them. He's like, no, let's make it fun. And he's like, here's what we'll do. Let's put on makeup on people. Let's do stuff. Let's do they're like, oh my God, here's my face.
Filters. Yeah.
Right?
The filters and all the
filters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's so true. It's like if you push people into a certain direction slowly, they'll naturally, because you feel left out.
Dude, that is one of the reasons why I don't know, just paranoia in me. I've never done like the face to open your phone. I can't do it.
Right.
I can't. I just feel like
you never did that?
I know, because I feel like they're storing they're storing like your face as you grow older. Like they're gonna just constantly.
They got you, bro. You got global entry, don't you?
They do, but
global entry went from putting your passport in. You had to do your thumb.
Yeah,
even that.
Yeah.
Now all we got to do is
stand in front of a camera.
Stand in front of the kiosk. Boop.
It scans you, and
we don't even the cop
pulls
already,
up your passport and everything.
The cop's
on its
already
own.
all right, Mr. Cheng.
Yeah,
you're good to go.
Yep.
Wow.
But China is working on the iPhone, so I don't know about the iPhones.
They have their own?
No, they manufacture them there.
Right. I know Huawei is
Yeah, Huawei is their phone
How
company.
you say it?
Huawei.
They have computers here too.
They do.
They're trying to get the farmers. They're trying to
They
you want these free computers.
They were giving them out to farmers, and they had no idea why. They're like, "Wow, these Chinese guys are so nice."
Right, downloading information.
Yeah,
I think it's like one of the things we miss is because we're not on guard. We just think everything that comes along is an attempt to make our life better.
Yeah.
That's how we look at things.
Yeah.
We look at things as like, this is going to make my life better.
Yep.
And it's like, even for me, I mean, you guys remember how long I fought the cell phone?
Yeah.
I'm on this thing way too much.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
We all are. It's a fact. Like, we all are.
It's like, it's trapped I can't even lie.
Yeah.
I pick it up. I'm like,
Right.
oh my God.
Right. You say you're gonna do something, and then in the middle of it, you realize you're on your phone. You're like, why am I on my phone right now?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a slow walk into conditioning us. And one of the other things, one of the cells I believe is this. Everybody's suffering from this around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Consumerism, we're all suffering from. Even the people who don't have access to straight up material goods, they're still suffering from the desire to want it too. Anthony Bourdain proved this when he went to I think it was Haiti, and he bought something, and he was able to show like this one kid was being left out, and they gave something to him, and then he became the asshole that everybody
really
they showed it. They were like he was the shunned by the village, and then they gave him something, and it quickly turned into he now is lord over them.
Wow.
And it was a simple thing, and they didn't mean it in any way. They just showed like how it works, like quickly. And I think that's what it is. It's the era of consumerism has gone to a new level now, where it's direct.
Yeah.
Before ads, we get that marketing companies, but now with social media, it's
TikTok.
It's there.
TikTok has got people. I see it all the time with her generation, and even like people a little bit older. Everything that they want and everything that they like is something they saw on TikTok.
Something they saw, man.
Like something that someone
Champion?
is selling them.
You guys remember Champion the brand?
Yeah.
Champion the brand. I was in a little while back. Champion was a Walmart brand, wasn't it?
Well, it started out as a sports brand.
Yeah.
Sports brand.
And it was popular in the 90s. It was expensive.
But
then it faded out. Yeah.
So
TikTok brought it back.
Right. But that company paid influencers to go.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. We're slowly allowing these people to program us.
Have you guys seen those silly, goofy ass videos of that dude's morning routine?
Ashton.
Yeah. Have you seen those that been going viral? The guy that rips the tape. What are those kind of videos called, Lise?
Get ready with me. It's like morning routine.
No, the style of ASMR. It's ASMR style video of this guy. He gets up, he rips the tape off his mouth, he washes his face,
in Saratoga.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
The blue glass bottle of sour water.
So this is what I was gonna say. So how much of them blue bottles of water do you think are selling now? If you look at their stock right now, it is through the freaking roof because that video went mega viral, over 100 million views.
I thought people were making fun of him. I didn't realize it.
Now they're all buying that water.
Oh, jeez.
And now I'm thinking, like, did they pay him
to do that?
Because that water is used in every single video, multiple times. He pours the water out of the bottle into a bowl with ice and washes his face with it, like as his morning routine. You haven't seen this video?
No.
What's the guy's name? I got to pull it up because
Ashton.
No,
I know it's Ashton.
I know what ASMR is. It's the sound thing, right?
Yeah.
Started with the food.
They were roasting him though. On
everybody's been roasting him, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of dummies that will just buy whatever they see. Ashton Hall.
Yeah, I think so. I think he got kicked out of the apartment, by the way.
Yeah, I heard he got kicked out of his apartment because he was filming them videos. Let me see. Here you go, Mo.
And he's 5'5" on top of that.
Yeah, he's 5'5", but he's like looks real diesel. So he's. Here you go. Watch this.
You missed where he took off the tape.
Yeah, I know. They didn't show it. This is the first one I found.
Look at that stand.
What?
This is a different one.
Yeah, he has multiples. This is one of the later ones. Let me see if we can find the original one that went viral.
I don't see.
I think that is that.
That's an outtake when he dropped the water. This is somebody doing a Ronaldo parody. I think this is it right here. This is the original.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Look, he uses the water to rinse his mouth out in a glass.
He's journaling on
So we're
page
going to
1.
be serious about the Lord's business.
The dive is horrible.
Nice apartment.
Yeah, I heard he got kicked out of there. This part is cool. What's his face with the banana?
So looking at it, bro, we got to go ahead and get in at least 10,000. Thank you.
Yeah, so this video went like crazy viral, hundreds of millions of views, and then everybody started making fun of it, doing parodies of it, and they're so hilarious. So some of them are really ghetto, like
One guy delivered a baby.
Yeah.
Flying to space.
Yeah.
He's like, it's 3 a.m.
So, yes.
Did you see when he was jumping into the pool? He was like in the air for 4 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But the thing is, again, all of that went viral. People were just making fun of it, but then that water company stock
crazy.
shot up like crazy.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And the first time I watched it, I saw the blue bottles, but I wasn't even paying attention to the water. But that's what people see something and they want it. They see it, they want
What
it.
type of water is that?
It's just
Saratoga or something.
It's just some kind of bottled water, bro.
Just tap water in a
blue
blue
bottle. But that's the type of.
Yeah, you're right. It could be somebody paid him. I mean, I didn't think of that, but I thought he was just like full of himself. But
Of course he is, but I'm saying like I think for that video in particular, they
mission
probably because I mean even just
you're right. Who knows if they paid him? Like, look, we're gonna put you up in this apartment.
Yeah.
Just make these. I mean, it could be true.
and someone had to film that and edit that.
Yeah,
You
It's
know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like
You're gonna
those
be here for
camera,
a couple months.
That camera got to be set up every room he walks into, every room because there's multiple views, like
Right,
him
that's what
walking
we
in,
gonna say.
walking
People
out.
were like, how did he get
car
up?
shot.
The car
That
shot.
car shot was
Yeah.
like movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have talent, but
Yeah. Anyway, I want to show this clip of Kevin O'Leary talking about the tariffs on China real quick, and because he gives a little different perspective as someone who's a businessman who does business in China and talks about a little bit of their business practices and some of the reasons why he thinks Trump should even go harder with the tariffs.
Harder.
104%.
Yeah. Here we go.
104% tariffs in China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it, and sell it back here. Never has an administration.
400% tariffs? What would that
I
look
want
like?
Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. This is not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. As someone who actually does business there, I've had enough. I speak for millions of Americans who have IP that have been stolen by the Chinese. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They brought great literacy, art, and tech to the world. The government cheats and steals, and finally, an administration. You may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric. Finally, an administration that puts up and says enough.
I have I was telling you about this the other day. Like, one of the guys I play soccer with, he's an accountant now, but he was telling me he used to work for this like printing company that did like toner and all this other stuff back in the early 2000s. And they were doing so well that they were expanding their business, and they wanted to expand into China. And they went over there and they were making these deals with them, and they opened up an office over there. Now, Kevin O'Leary talks about how, like, when you open up an office in China, they have to take 51% of your company because they need to have, you know, the lion's share so that they can operate as management. Basically, they dictate what your company does in their country. So they were talking about how they set up this office. They were working over there. They had people come in and steal their IP and then create the same exact product that they were selling back at like a 50% discount. Wow. And totally took them and took them out of business completely. That company doesn't exist anymore. And this is what Kevin O'Leary is talking about. Like, this is what China's doing to a lot of these companies is they let you go in there, but then there's you can't litigate in their courts. You can't take them to court. You can't sue them.
We found that out with COVID. We couldn't even go over there. It's a world health pandemic. You can't even go over there.
To find out what really happened, which now, I don't know if you guys saw over the last couple of days, but we found out it leaked that the Pentagon was hiding. Well, not the Pentagon. The Biden administration was hiding that the Pentagon had announced back in 2022 that they found out that the coronavirus may have been intentionally leaked.
That's what we knew.
We were just talking about this in the car the other day.
But you can't even go over there. You can't even all the governments of the world cowered when China said, "Don't come here. You're gonna get arrested."
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, journalists, don't come here. You're going to get arrested. We don't want nobody looking into this.
Yeah, and how is that fair? It came from
you.
Yeah.
It destroyed everyone's economy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that this story, I just saw this story yesterday, and me and Mon were talking about this in the car because I was saying, like, you know, back when the pandemic was first happening, we were openly talking about how, like, China seems like this would be something that they would do on purpose, right? Especially when you look at the times back then and how Trump had put those tariffs on them back in 2019, and it was working, and our economy was in a trajectory that had been in a long time. The momentum was there for us to, like, we had become the biggest economy in the world again. Manufacturing was coming back. We were energy independent for the first time in forever, and then all of a sudden, they unleashed this thing that shuts down everything.
But this is going to continue happening because we don't know the politicians, the businesses that are in bed with them and are signing these terrible deals. I mean, they'll be rich.
Yeah.
Their CEO is going to walk away with millions of dollars. But to sign away, like you said, even the fact that to come into their countries, they have to have 50% in business, but they can come here and literally buy out everything.
Yep.
They're buying farmland.
Buying farmland.
I mean, come on now.
They're putting balloons up in the sky and you don't even shoot them down.
This is ridiculous now, man.
Check this out. So, bombshell report. The Biden administration concealed a report showing that U.S. troops had COVID symptoms in Wuhan months before the pandemic was officially acknowledged, reports the Washington Free Beacon. I'll show this from Fox real quick.
And that's what the investigation should have began.
Yeah, we know this. But apparently they released this back in 2022, but the Biden administration stopped it. They wouldn't let anyone report on it.
He was making deals, so he ain't going to do that.
Right.
This is one of the things that you say, call for number one here, that the revelation adds to a mounting body of evidence that the virus was circulating in Wuhan for months before China disclosed it to the world in December of 2019 and further bolsters the growing consensus that it could have leaked into the human population from a Chinese lab. I think a lot of people might be able to understand that. The more interesting thing could be for our audience, who asked for the report and who didn't basically release the report more widely?
Right. So this report showing that we had a military delegation that competed in the World Military Games in Wuhan in October of 2019, and 7 of those members came down with COVID-19-like symptoms, according.
Very strange that they did something in Wuhan in 2019. They did a military operation, war games in Wuhan in 2019, right before the pandemic, and 7 people got it. You don't think that could be strategic on their part to shut down the entire world economy because they knew that they could insulate themselves? Look, they were, what's it called? Welding people into their houses.
Yeah.
And then I was telling Mo, and I was like, we now we're finding out that a lot of that footage of like people dying in the streets and all that caused all the hysteria back in the beginning was all fake. So even the hysteria that got us to a place where people were agreeing to wear masks, lock themselves down, shove these experimental vaccines in their arms, like all that hysteria was created by us not knowing what was really going on, not being allowed to investigate this.
How could we not saying I'm just saying, how could the American people, we're finding this stuff after the fact. He's long gone out of office.
Yeah.
There's no charges or nothing. I'm sure those military people probably all have to sign NDA. They can't sue, or if not, they're dead too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's sad, dude. It's sad. And I'm just saying, like, this is why we need this type of drastic correction now. Like what he's doing with the tariffs, what he's doing trying to keep China from continuing this BS with the entire world, like getting us out of the World Health Organization. We see what they did to it. All of their recommendations, they were protecting China.
They were protecting, yeah.
Remember the dude that was running it wouldn't say that Taiwan was a country, remember? They were protecting China.
And the people who are complaining, right, about the tariffs, their vested interest is they're complaining about that, but they want to use the American people to buy their goods,
right?
Which is coming cheap over there. They don't care about those people,
right?
They could care less who's making it,
or they just want to have a reason to be mad at Trump. It's those people too,
yeah.
Because it's very shocking and sad to me when I see all of these people like praising President Xi, praising him, and rooting for China.
Yeah, you were talking about the WHO. He literally said China is the standard of how you should handle COVID.
I remember.
And you just brought something to my mind. I forgot that they welded people in.
Yeah.
So that's the standard.
They were forcing
people to stay inside
and
welding their door,
kidnapping people that they thought were
Can you imagine
positive.
that happened here?
They would love to do it.
Yeah, they would.
Don't even think for 1 second they would.
They kept testing the waters, right? They kept testing the waters.
With
people weren't having it.
Every time people pushed back on something, they were like, "All right, we went too far, guys. Chill out."
They love them. You kidding me?
Watch it. Check out this video right here. This guy breaks it down even further.
Biden administration buried a bombshell 2022 Pentagon report. 7 U.S. athletes fell ill with COVID-like symptoms during the October 2019 Wuhan military games. Now, why was this kept from the public? Rewind to September 2019. Wuhan's own media reported a coronavirus drill at the local airport just before the games. Coincidence or something more sinister? Ma Guo, founder of the new federal state of China, the NFSC, revealed in May 2021 that the CCP had planned to release the virus in 2019. The first attempt in Guangzhou failed. The second attempt at the military games, now corroborated by the Pentagon, also failed to spread. The third attempt at the Huanan seafood market succeeded, unleashing a pandemic that killed tens of millions in China and over 7 million worldwide. So why the cover-up? Why push the animal origin narrative when Pentagon intelligence raises serious doubts and ignore the NFSC, whose intel has been proven repeatedly to be accurate? Global security and humanity's future is at stake. Let the truth shine now.
Crazy.
That's sad.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Somebody is getting rich off of doing this. This is not by chance.
Yeah.
Of course.
A lot of people got rich. One of them, his name is Anthony Fauci, who I wonder why he got pardoned.
I think his documentary on Disney got taken down. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Let me show a couple of these TikTok influencers that have been going viral. So people were. I'm just gonna run through some of these real quick. Like, look at this. These are people just opening up at these manufacturing places, Louis Vuitton boxes. They're showing like, yeah, this is where we make the stuff. Let's go through another one. See, because what was happening is a lot of the shipment containers were being sent back because the tariffs were those the suppliers couldn't offload the stuff anymore because the tariffs. So the shipments were being sent back to China.
So they're mad.
So they're mad. So now their retaliation is
Is it actual Louis Vuitton or knockoffs?
So that's the thing. A lot of these places are telling people on TikTok, like, buy from me. I give you cheap, Louis Vuitton, $500. You know what I'm saying? But they're scammers.
Right.
They're knockoffs.
Right.
China is known to make dupes of everything.
Yeah, they're doing it with a lot of things.
Like, look at this.
Do you like this bag or this? $2. All in $2. If you need bag supplier, contact me. I'm able to wait.
And so, dude, all over TikTok. I'm going to show you some more.
Going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, the thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil Al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce.
So he goes through how they make the Birkins. They make them there in China. He breaks down how much every piece costs and why it costs. So everything that they get, the pieces that they get, because they do get the best leather, the best yarn, the best like hardware that you can find on earth. They get that to make these bags. But with all of that combined, the total price is $1,400 US. Which an Hermes bag, I don't know if you guys know, it's like $38,000.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
And people buy these. Like this, when you hear these, like Cardi B and all these people talking about Birkin bags and like someone has to buy me that on my first date or something like that.
30 grand.
Yes, dude, for these bags. For this.
Gosh.
And it's like all of these people are acting like their mind is blown because they didn't realize that the markup was so high. Because you're getting once they put the logo on it.
Yep.
And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like maybe you guys don't need to be spending your money on this dumb stuff. Yep. Maybe you do need to be exposed to the fact that a bag that you're going to carry around,
you got legally robbed.
Doesn't. But they're acting like they're people are making these videos like saying that America is robbing them. China is so much cheaper. They don't understand that. No, that's called capitalism.
Yep.
You guys only want it because it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
If those bags were really $2, like that girl was saying, and everybody could have 15 of them, they wouldn't want them.
Yeah, right.
They wouldn't want
That's
them.
100% true. That's 100% true. Yeah.
It's because it's a flex.
Right. You want to be able to say you have it. Right.
Yeah. And hold on, I'm not gonna play. I'm just gonna pull it up for me, Lisa. I'm just gonna go through all. Like, look at this. This is another TikToker. Another one. He's doing soap pods. This guy's doing bags. This one's doing, I think, Chanel.
This is like the new pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
The new multi.
You believe you can have
sneakers? Yeah, and all they're saying is come to me directly.
Right.
Don't go to the store and get it. And they're saying,
I keep on laughing at James because I have my phone like this so I can see if there's anybody commenting.
And he keeps moving it.
He always straightens it out when he's talking.
That's his OCD.
That's like you can straighten out, bro.
That's the Indian in me. I want to take it.
No, but it's like I think they don't understand that like for some of these people probably are like trying to counteract the tariffs and go direct because like this is China's like way of lashing out and showing people like we're gonna show you how your country is robbing you. You know, China is so much better, and a lot of dummies are falling for it. I'm seeing it on the internet. Like a lot of people on X are like, America is robbing us and blah blah blah, and I just don't think that they understand that a lot of these people are scammers. They're trying to sell you dupes.
Yeah.
That you think. And another thing that people don't understand is if you get caught, because they're telling them come to China, you can buy these. If you get caught bringing dupes through the airport, there's like a $600,000 fine or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like
theft. No, not theft. It's sale by deception.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's check out this
because you're selling it as you're not
even if you bought one and you bringing it through customs.
You gotta
it's
pay.
bootleg.
Yeah,
No. You can get arrested for that.
No, you don't have to. I thought you had to pay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you buy a real one, but if you buy a dupe, if you buy any like counterfeited merchandise and bring it through customs, you can be arrested for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
I
I
didn't
thought
know
you
that.
had to pay on. Say you went shopping, like you go duty. Is it duty free? Not duty. If you buy it in the airport, no taxes. If you bring it in and you bring in like a bunch of them, you pay on that, right?
If they're real. But if they're found out to be fraudulent, like counterfeits, that's illegal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They smuggle those things in. You can't get caught with those through customs. That's like bringing in, you know.
There's gonna be no video of people getting arrested doing that type of stuff.
Right. Let's watch this
They probably
video.
should have took this app away when they had the chance, because the Chinese manufacturers just hit them folks with the Uno reverse. And right now, the Chinese manufacturers are the best content on TikTok. They said, oh, tariffs, you say. Oh, okay. American people, y'all said y'all like New Balance, Adidas, Nike. Bet. Oh, yeah. The manufacturer is such and such, located at such and such in Guangzhou. They do shipping within this time, and here are the products.
Yeah, you go ahead and get your butt over there and
Right.
go see if you can go buy some stuff at
There'll be a lot
those-
of idiots going too.
There is. And let them get the
And
hold
they're
of your
doing
credit
the
card
same thing they're
information.
complaining about.
Right.
They're going over there to scam and bring. They're doing the exact same thing.
But people are falling for it, man, and they're all over. This guy was funny. Because this just made me think, like, bro, what is wrong with you?
First of all, after finding out what I just found out about the U.S. and China, you know, I want to say I'm highly ticked off. I'm highly upset. 3 years ago, I paid $450 for these Gucci slides
That's your dumbass.
You're an idiot.
That's your dumbass.
at the Gucci store right here in Houston, Texas. And now China done exposed the fact that these shoes right here only cost 75 cents to produce.
This is my thing. Like, again, why would you expect it's foam and some like paint?
Special foam.
Like, just because it has a Gucci sticker on
That's
it.
what I'm saying. It's exposing. I get what they're doing, and I think they should do it because it's exposing. They think it's a flex, but they're exposing our stupidity.
Yes, I'm with you. It's exposing how dumb y'all are for wasting
I feel bad for
$400.
them.
$400 on some slides.
Every time I see one, I put the Michael Jackson eating popcorn meme, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I don't do that.
$400 on some slides. I don't care how much money I got. Just to flex and show people I got some Gucci.
Well, it's crazy because one thing that's interesting about this, it's not necessarily tied to the tariff things, but someone was explaining quiet luxury.
Mhm.
And they were saying those brands, the high-end brands, do actually make quality things. They do actually use better thread count and better leathers and things
Yeah.
of that nature. But the difference is it's never advertised. Like you see like the slippers and and it's usually sold
That's
to the
sold
minor.
to the Negroes.
And it's very ostentatious. It's in your face, right?
It's always the slides, the belts, the wallets like,
Anything
that
that
have
could
the
be- yes.
that have the Gucci colors throughout
Very-
it.
yes.
That's always sold
Right.
to like the hood rich people.
So here's the thing. Have you guys heard of Dapper Dan?
Yes.
Okay. So Dapper Dan is a black designer from Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
He started to really get immersed into the hip hop world. He was
Okay.
making all the outfits, LL Cool J, Kumo D, all the stuff like that. And they were essentially, he found a supplier that would make, what's that? He found a supplier that would make leathers and cloth
Uh-huh.
with the logos embossed but bigger.
Right.
Before that, those high-end brands never did that.
Right.
They just never did.
No one's ever saw that.
Gucci had the label, and they definitely did.
Yeah.
But it was never ostentatious like, look at me, I'm
Yeah.
wearing this. The rappers really did that. They ended up copying him and realized, wait a minute, because they didn't like this at all.
Mhm.
They didn't like that they were doing, number one, he was ripping off their brand.
Yeah.
They didn't like that, but they realized, wait a minute here. We could have a direct connection with the hip hop artists because it's free advertisement.
Right.
Right. So that's what happened specifically with that, because then they were talking about like those high-end brands like I just talked about. They actually do sell top-notch product.
Yeah.
But it's understated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in your face. It's not the label's not embossed. It's more like subtle.
Mhm.
And they were like, that's for the people who are old money. The new money people are all the expensive stuff, like the diamond watches. All the rappers wearing their watches.
Yes.
I don't know if you
Jacob
saw.
the
I think it
jeweler.
might be Lil Baby or The Baby. One of the babies.
One of the babies, yeah.
They bought a Patek Philippe,
Mm-hmm.
and they had it bedazzled by a jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
And Patek called him
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, sorry to tell you this, but that's not our watch."
Yeah.
That was, and he spent $500,000 on this watch.
Wow.
It was a watch, bedazzled with moissanite, which is a diamond too, but not a
Right.
actual diamond.
Yeah, but it was probably a Chinese dupe.
Probably. And so that's what it is. I think because of that, they have the actual luxury. They actually have things that are actually made very well.
Yeah.
But that's for their clientele who are discerning, but they don't want to be flashy.
Yeah, because there is something about an artisan brand that is supposed to make it worth more, right?
Right.
But I think we've turned it into, this is how I show that I'm
better than you.
I'm better than you.
Right.
So that's what's kind of made this people financing bags and
Right.
overspending and going all crazy to get these dupes and get fake stuff because they want the flex, or spending $400 because you can't get the $1,500 Gucci pants, so you settle for the $400 Gucci slides because at least that way you can
That's
wear those.
crazy.
Didn't you say you went out with a dude that wore Gucci slippers to a club one time?
Yes, and he got kicked out.
Yeah, he
Well,
got
couldn't
kicked
even get kicked out. He couldn't get in.
Right. But see, that's because he thought, I'm going to show off and wear these Gucci
He did
slippers.
say that.
Yeah.
He said, these are Gucci's, though. And the guy was like,
Right. Let's watch the rest of this dude crash out real quick.
You know what? Real Gucci slides. I'm done. Gucci slides. You know what?
You ain't burning them though, bro. What are you doing?
Look like he got a yellow, what is that in the back? Mustang?
China, listen. If y'all watching this, China, I have nothing against y'all. I want to personally say thank you. What they did was wrong. 75 cents for Gucci slides. I got about 15 pair of these things in my damn closet.
No, you don't.
What the hell's going on, man? 75 cents. How much were these to produce? How
He's
much
just
were
showing
these,
off.
huh? Were these another one of those?
I don't even know. What are
famous
those?
slides
Are those some other kind of?
that Valentino?
Oh,
that only
Valentino.
cost 10 or 12 cents. Listen,
You
I'm
wearing
behind the
ring.
wreck
You
now
wearing
from
the
the
black
manufacturer.
socks. You're supposed to do that.
But yeah, it's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. All these influencers are talking about how China is doing their thing. They're showing Trump. They're showing Trump now. Trump done messed up. Look, Donald Trump effed around with China, and now he gonna find out. That's what this person says.
A visa-free entry into China to go shopping. No paperwork, nothing to do, no visa needed. You can just go to China and buy whatever it is you want. They said if a
Okay,
And bring it back.
Look up a plane ticket to China right now, dummy.
No, looking back when they have to come through customs.
Right, when they got to come through customs and get arrested for having a bunch of scammed merchandise.
Right.
And then after that, once they get your credit card information over there, don't be crying. These people are crazy, man. These people are crazy. Is this the end of the luxury goods market? I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I hope that we get back to, well, I don't think we will, but I think we're so pre-programmed from the 90s to 2000s to just want these things that are wasteful.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and even I'll give Shaq credit. Shaq is co-owner of Reebok now.
Yeah.
And Shaq said something interesting. Shaq said a mom came up to him and said, "Hey, you know, Shaq, you know, you guys need to stop this. Like, I can't afford $300, $400 shoes."
Yeah.
And he talked to his team and he said, "Listen, what can we do?" And he has an exclusive deal with Reebok, and he actually has his shoes in Kohl's. And I saw them. They're actually really nice.
Mhm.
He had them in Walmart too.
the first ones, the Filas, what were they? Or they Reeboks, the Shacknotics or whatever. Those were ugly. Remember
From
them?
the early days of
the
this
hip. Remember the one with the hypnotized spiral on them?
Yeah,
Those were ugly.
These new ones are actually nice, and they're not that bad. But
Yeah.
it's, and I think they're like what, $40, $60 or something like that.
Yeah, they're affordable.
You know, they're affordable, and that's what he said. He said, you know, I don't want to cripple anybody. He's like, I'm good. He's like, I don't need to make that much money. It's really all it is the younger kids like Balenciaga, right? Like, have you guys seen this?
Yes.
This is the ugliest thing ever. It's terrible. There's, and here's a crazy thing.
But why do they like it? Because of Yeezy and Ye and yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. They did like some comparison. They copied Skechers' old style. It's just Skechers. They just copied it. They took like the old Skechers from the 90s and they just added some stuff to it. I'm like, this is our problem. Sneakers, yeah. But this is our problem, though. It's just like the incessant need to show off and show people that we're doing better than them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Show people you're flexing. Y'all remember these?
Oh yeah, those are the Shacks.
Those are their first Shacks.
Yeah. They were ugly.
I used to see people wearing them in school.
Mm-hmm. That's when they were expensive.
Look, can you look up the new Shaq?
Yeah.
Reebok are they're in Walmart now.
They're in Walmart, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to be more affordable. And they're nice. They're not bad.
Yeah. Walmart clothes is actually
my
wife shops at Walmart. She gets nice stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Which ones you like?
I'm not anything particular. I'm just saying that, you know.
Yeah, these are nice sneakers. Can you see?
Not really. Oh, they're actually not bad. The blue one?
Shacknosis, that's what it was called.
The purple ones are nice.
Purple ones are dope, yeah.
I would wear it.
How much are they?
So they're Reebok.
264. Well, the Reebok one, these ones, this one's $70. These are $30 at Kohl's.
I would wear those.
$50. This one's $180. 45 for these. Yeah, he's got some affordable ones.
Yeah.
Shacknosis are $150. But he got some expensive ones too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at these. Shack Attacks, $264.
Never mind. Well,
that's probably because it's the old school one, right?
Yeah, probably. If you're a sneakerhead, yeah. All right, I'm going to play one more video about this China stuff. This guy does a nice breakdown telling Americans what really went down. This is a Chinese guy. He also was getting pushed on TikTok. They're literally just pushing propaganda, trying to make America look dumb and showing like China as this beautiful, amazing place. They're saying there's no slave labor, like lying, bro. But this guy,
they rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap labors. And in the process,
that's the truth,
they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, China made money. But we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, and mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodged tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare costs, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs fit your lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
It's crazy because this is exactly what we've been saying the whole time, right? Like he laid it all out, kind of.
It's been 40
succinctly
years.
there. Yeah,
it's been 40 years. And I said this before in the podcast. Ross Perot said all of this.
yeah,
he did.
He did.
He was a
He warned
businessman.
this. He warned about this. Yeah.
They all talked about it though.
I mean, Trump's been talking about this for decades, even
Yes.
as a
Yes,
Democrat.
He has.
Yeah.
On Oprah.
Yeah, he was talking about it on Oprah. He
Yeah.
talked about it on The View. He talked about it all over the place.
Yeah.
But this is why we go back to what we were talking about. The baby boomers,
Yeah.
that generation led us down a dark tunnel
Mhm.
into a burning building, essentially, because
Yeah.
they benefited off of this. And they could have, I mean, maybe a lot of them couldn't foresee this happening. But that's the whole point of being able to collect data and analyze and say, what's the trend? If that's what we're saying our society is good at, is collecting information to find out, hey, we have a potential issue in 20 years from now. If we put that same effort as we do into global warming, as into all the crises that they talk about,
Yeah.
into how the economy works, we would be way better off. But we never heard anything about that.
Nope.
You know, we never heard anything about this, how all these jobs and all these things that were just getting shipped over there would destroy our economy. Now we have crippling debt, college loans.
Yeah.
You know, that most of these kids people are never going to pay that back. You can't afford to pay your college loan back and afford a house.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Right.
On a regular salary. Not everybody's going to be making six figures.
Yeah.
That's still a very low percentage of people are making that. And even if you made that, what's happening really is when you bonus, they tax that 40%
Mhm.
on bonuses. If you bonus, 40%. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, all of the ways they tax us.
My cousin told me he got a $10,000 bonus, walked away with $6,000.
Yeah.
That's
what they do.
That's crazy.
Bonuses are taxed like crazy. Bro, anything, capital gains tax,
But on paper, it
Yeah.
looks like you're making
right.
a lot of money.
But that's why the people that really make money, they never realize their gains. They always move it into other assets because otherwise it's going to get taxed to hell. Or they move it overseas. To
Yeah, a little
something.
money laundering, buying some expensive art for no reason.
Right. Hunter Biden painting,
Yeah.
if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you do this weekend? Buying art.
Yeah.
How much money are you going to dump in it? 40 mil.
Yeah, but that guy, he made some great points.
He did.
A couple of things that he didn't mention, though, was that, China definitely controls all of the people there. They don't have a say. They're not allowed to criticize their government. And, it'll do
Well, he's
things
never
that-
going to say that. He just wants to
can't.
highlight that we have a part to play in it, which is
Yeah,
true.
we do. We do.
He kept on saying though, you don't need no more tariffs. You don't want
Right.
Trump
They
to
don't want-
tariff
yeah.
you.
Nobody wants.
But
No one
it
wants to
is-
pay more.
That the tariffs are gonna.
What I think,
China's gonna buckle.
honestly, what I think Trump is trying to do is what he said. You guys need to take your country back. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
He's trying to mess up all of the liberal world order that has been being put in place forever. That's what the World Trade Organization was supposed to be. NAFTA, all these things that they've been working on since the 80s and 90s. This new world order, this global order that they've been trying to set up, and Trump is trying to put a wedge into that and say, no, we need to take our country back because we've been selling out our future for the longest. We don't make anything here.
Right.
We're dependent on China for manufacturing. We're dependent on countries for oil. We're dependent on Canada for electricity in our Northeast. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be living like this. We should not be the strongest country in the world and be that dependent on other countries. And then our education system is as terrible as it is also. And all of these things, our infrastructure, when you look at
Infrastructure's
roads,
huge.
roads here, buildings, airports here, like the VAs, they're terrible.
He's working on it though, man. Like stopping that bureaucracy, man.
It's such a massive.
Yeah. People think, he's cutting, he's getting rid of the educational, so the kids they're not going to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
all that's made up. All that's
it's
a lie.
all complete lies.
Yeah.
And we played the videos to show all that. But
yeah.
And there's another aspect too, which is we talk about legacy media, but legacy retail, they don't like this idea of direct to consumer from independent small parties either.
No.
They're going to pump money into whatever candidates that they may say certain things, but they're going to pump money at certain candidates to put a stop to people like who y'all can go to China and buy goods and come over here. They want to put a stop to all of that.
Yeah.
That's what Amazon has a whole platform for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
But Amazon, what people don't realize, Amazon copies your algorithm too. They're doing the exact same thing
They
China
do
does.
what China does,
Yeah.
and this is Jeff.
Exact same
He
thing.
just sent a bunch of chicks to the moon or to the outer space. You offer
Hold up now, hold
because he
up
does
now.
the same thing. If you have a product that is selling well on Amazon,
It's the
they
same thing.
steal it and come up with a version and sell it for cheaper.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
They do
Yeah.
it. Wayfair does it. Amazon does it. Walmart, I don't know.
Hold up. Walmart does it. They all do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Target got their own brand of stuff.
yeah, but I'm saying Amazon
Copies your algorithm.
They can copy exactly your market to exactly the people
yeah,
that
you have to give them
they have they can see the back door of everything you're doing.
how you're getting it, where you're getting it
Yeah.
from. I didn't know that. I found a guy a while back who asked me, "Hey, how much does it cost to make bed frames? You know, like when you see the bed frames with the lats, you just roll them out."
Mhm.
And he had asked me about that, and I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because they're charging per container. They have to buy the whole thing."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have the capacity to do that. But what had happened was he was doing it for so long that Amazon went and found his
supplier
was,
Yeah.
and they were putting on a cheaper version.
Yeah.
Then it's the same thing, but a cheaper
Yeah.
version. They have the buying power.
Because they can buy it way more in bulk and
Yeah.
spend less money and
Yeah,
then
they
sell it
copy
for
your
cheaper.
algorithm.
Yeah.
It's such a great because if you want to be in the platform to sell, they have and they say, oh, it's because it's for integrity reasons.
Mhm.
It's to make sure that your consumer is not getting screwed and yourself.
Right.
But they literally
protection.
it's protection. Yeah, we're gonna sell it as protection.
Yeah.
But they literally have access to how your business functions. It's kind of what what's that show? The Shark Tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they negotiate, they sit there.
Kevin O'Leary.
I want this percentage. I want this. I want this. I want
Mhm.
this. It's almost the same thing. These people are not gonna give you access to their infrastructure unless you give them a control of your business to some degree.
Right.
Right.
You're giving up something for that.
You're not.
And what you're giving up is your intellectual property.
Yeah.
You're giving that up.
That's exactly what it is. But it's not just China doing that. It's everybody doing that.
Right.
You
But
know what I
China
mean?
can just do it way better because they can have slave labor.
And they have no rules.
Yeah, they don't have no. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
All right, let's move on to one last topic before we get out of here. I just want to touch on this quickly because we haven't talked about it, and it's one of the biggest stories in the country right now. The Karmelo Anthony and Metcalf situation. Have you guys been following this at all? This story, I know it's huge.
I know about it.
I know about it, but
I don't.
It's turned into
I
this
know that
huge racial divide because
I mean, you know that was coming.
Yeah, it was basically the story that what we know so far is that they were at this track meet and apparently it was raining and the way the people set up, they will put tents in the bleacher section and people will sit up under the tents with their families or whatever. And apparently Karmelo Anthony was sitting underneath Metcalf's tent and him and his people asked him to move and he didn't want to move, and then they were trying to forcibly move him, and he said, if you touch me, he said he basically warned them not to touch him, and he touched him, and then Karmelo Anthony pulled a knife out of his bag and stabbed him in the heart, and Metcalf ended up passing away, teenage boy, and Karmelo Anthony was arrested, awaiting his trial. Turned into this big story. Everyone is, basically trying to compare it to who's the guy on the train? What's the guy's name on the train that strangled that black dude?
I don't remember.
That
his
was
name.
threatening everybody.
They've been comparing it to everything.
Comparing it to Trayvon Martin and damn, what's the dude's name?
I don't remember.
Daniel Penny is the other guy's name.
Daniel Penny is the train guy.
Arbery?
Not Ahmaud Arbery. Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman.
Yeah.
And they're basically trying to say, Rittenhouse. They're comparing it to Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
But there's this huge divide. They ended up raising over $400,000 for Karmelo Anthony's defense, while he was in prison because he admitted to doing it. The police came and he said that they were saying that this is the suspect, and he was like, I'm not the suspect, I did it, basically admitting to stabbing this kid in the heart over the confrontation. And they brought up
Chauvin too.
Yeah, they brought up Derek Chauvin as well. Yeah. They're bringing up all these cases because a lot of the black sentiment online is like, we need to protect this kid because he was just doing what all the white people do anyway. So, they're trying to pay for his defense fund. This story right here, Karmelo Anthony, teen charged in fatal stabbing Austin Metcalf during a track meet. Self-defense has been released on bond. This happened, I think, today.
And they have footage of it?
Apparently there is footage of it, but it hasn't been released yet. The police have the footage of it, but it hasn't been released yet.
They're definitely trying to paint him a certain way. Like, the kid that stabbed him, the picture that they show all the time is the picture of him, in holding in the suit. But then I see like posts of
real post of him on his social media.
Where he's holding the gun, acting like a gangster.
Yeah, he's got his middle finger up. He's trying to be, thugged out. Yeah, I know. But the picture that they post, this is the one you can see it right here. This is the picture they always post of him.
Was there a clip of him sitting next to some guys in a tent, and they're like, "Hey, you're a real nice guy," something like that? Was that the same clip? Might be something different.
No, I think that's something different. This is him being released today.
Yeah.
He was released. The judge reduced his bond from $1 million to $250,000.
Yeah, and that's where they compared him to.
But they have no footage of the incident.
The police have the footage, but they haven't. I think they got CCTV footage, and they haven't released that yet. So nobody has cell phone footage of it, because apparently it happened real fast. He stabbed him in the heart. The kid bled out like right away, and everybody just rushed to try to help, and it's a tragic story because one kid ends up in jail, the other one dies, and the father of the kid that died, he was saying like, he didn't want to turn it into a racial thing, trying to say like, because you saw all these narratives started popping up online that weren't true, talking about how like this one guy came out saying that he was there and he saw that Metcalf and his brother jumped the kid and he was defending himself. That turned out to be a fake story.
But why don't the police release the footage? What do you think they're doing?
Because they're probably still
investigating.
They're not going to release it when there's still a trial and an investigation going on.
So you use against them.
Yeah, they don't want to sway. The jury might see it. They don't want to have anything to influence public opinion. So they need that evidence probably released in court.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't want to really, because public opinion shouldn't matter. People are jumping to conclusions anyway. Just because
that's going to happen.
We're racially divided.
And there was a time when especially with young black dudes, they would always show the thug fit picture.
Yeah,
they'll always do that. So it's the way how media to me works is at one time it was blacks and now it's the whites, and they all do that to keep people divided instead of looking at the facts and saying, okay, what happened. They always do that to kind of gaslight people and make them feel like this is this issue, not a human issue, a right versus wrong.
And I think you got to just look at the facts of the case. Like if everything that we know is what happened and he's claiming self-defense, in Texas there is a stand your ground law, but it has to be a reasonable force. You have to retaliate with reasonable force. You can't escalate the situation. If people are trying to fight you, you can't then shoot them. Like that's not standing your ground unless you're about to die. Like you really feel like you're about to die. But if the story is that apparently he grabbed him to remove him from the tent.
I think I've seen this clip. I'm not sure.
There's no clip of that. Or
is it something different?
Yeah. But yeah, there was people spreading rumors that they knew each other, that they got into a fight at a party before, and like all of that is made up. It's all just made up stuff that people are making up. They never knew each other. They're from different schools. It was at a track meet.
Wow.
Let's look at some of the threads from his Give Send Go where he raised over. These are some of the comments. from his Gifts and Gold, where he raised all that money. White people do it, so we will. This is a $5 donation. Like, that's why you're doing it. White people do it, so we will. Praying for both families, regardless. Both families have lost their sons. I'm giving my donation because Texas is a racist state, and I want Karmelo Anthony to have a fair chance to defend himself with funds needed financially. God loves us all, no matter what skin color. Just be fair and get the whole truth of what happened before passing judgment. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If you want him to have the money to defend himself, that's fair. This person donated $100.
I don't know if it's racist though.
Well, Texas is a racist state. I mean, that's someone that could be someone could have a lot of bad racist experiences in Texas. I'm not gonna put that past them. This is if this time Trayvon was white, Anthony stood his ground. May God bless and keep him. When I was Karmelo's age, I would have had to get up and not say a word. God bless this young man. You are not alone. You got us by your side. So he was getting a lot of Black Lives Matter. He's getting a lot of love.
Black Lives Matter isn't that too?
No, that's what they put hashtag Black Lives Matter. So then we get this story after he gets released from prison today. Killer teen Karmelo Anthony's family reveal other plans for the $400K legal defense fund.
Other plans.
They have other plans for this money. They have other plans for this money. Could it involve a Hellcat? I don't know. The family of the teen who fatally stabbed a 17-year-old boy in Texas plans to use the $400,000 legal defense fund to move home and hire security after facing racist threats. Anthony, 17, was in court. Blah 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 blah.
17.
So yeah, 17. So they raised more than $415,000 for his son's defense and paid the original bond, which was reduced to $250,000. So yeah, they decided they raised $500,000 legal defense fund and moved into a mansion, bought a Cadillac Escalade, and got Karmelo some new kicks.
Is that real?
That's real. This really happened today. So they took the defense fund money. And the father bought a house, an Escalade, and some new shoes.
This is real.
Yeah, this really happened today.
Come on, bro.
This really happened.
I guess his father doesn't want to see him again.
So the defense money that was there for his defense, they went and splurged.
So what does he have, a public defender?
No, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get some, one of these race
high
baiting,
profile.
One of these race baiting lawyers is gonna pick up the case. What's the dude's name? Crump? Benjamin Crump. He's probably gonna jump on it, or somebody. But yeah, so that story that story took a turn right there. Nobody was that news just broke like
but it's
a
sad
few hours
because,
ago.
It's sad, man, when you think of this. We all fall for that because when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered too, I saw a bunch of white people online donating to those two guys,
Of
and
course.
they murdered that dude.
Yeah.
So it's like this nonsense. We fall for it because a lot of us we're just so trapped by this idea of us versus them.
Mhm.
Whoever the them is.
Yep.
And whoever the us is. It's like we need to get back to a position where it's like, what's right, what's legal, what's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What's morally right?
a kid lost his life and another kid's life is ruined. He's 17 and this may seem like a quote unquote financial victory, but you're 17. You have to live with the fact that a man died at your hands.
Stabbed him in the heart.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. That's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's like we're coming to this place where we fall for this stuff. That it's almost like so. It's like just waiting for like a spark to ignite, and everything goes out of control.
Yeah, I know, man. It's sad, and my prayer goes out to both of those families. I hope this young boy has a fair trial. I hope that all the evidence comes out, and if it turns out that that those dudes did jump him, or if something crazy happened where he needed to defend himself, then that's what it is, and then he needs to be set free for that. But if it turns out that he murdered this guy because he overreacted, or he, couldn't control his emotions or whatever. If he then he needs to face the consequences for that as well. And it's sad, but that's what it is. What it
Why
is.
does he got a knife though?
Yeah.
You know.
Why are you carrying a
I
knife
have a
at
teenager.
a school event?
You have a teenager.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for them to control their, you know, restraint. And I see it in my son.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gets like, you know, he can't control his emotions.
I mean, I carry a knife all the time.
Yeah, but you work. That's for work.
For cutting boxes.
Yeah, cutting stuff.
But if somebody did though.
Yeah, someone tried to.
Yeah, somebody's crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that. They stole like 5 cars out of my neighborhood.
Like these are the pictures you were talking about that they didn't show, right?
Yeah.
These are on his social media.
It's funny how this stuff, the pendulum swings.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s, this is all they would show.
Yeah.
They would now show the suit picture.
Right. They would show that right away.
It's right away.
They would be like,
Black
young
king,
young thug brutally murders a pure white.
It would be Hillary doing it.
Yeah.
We got to bring these
super predator.
We got to bring them to heel.
Bring them to heel. He stabbed
it's the opposite.
The potential a future president was murdered
But
today.
this shows why you have to be careful. All of us, human beings, forget race for a second. You have to be careful about being okay with rhetoric and language that suits you.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the pendulum does swing, now do you think they're not scouring the internet to find any picture of that white dude?
Oh, they have been trying. They have been trying,
looking.
bro. They've been looking to see if
Or
there's
some
anything.
thread that he was in.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's like that's what's wrong with us all.
Yeah.
Is the idea of it's okay when you do it. Now it's not okay when we do it.
Yeah.
How about this? Why don't we just follow the law?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's all stop doing it.
Let's all stop doing it.
And then this makes it even worse. This was the judge that lowered his bail.
Oh yeah.
Diversity in the judiciary.
Okay.
And there's a whole video of her saying like, I'm just happy that future judges can see someone like me and know future little black girls can see a judge like me and know that they can do it. Like,
Okay, Kamala.
yeah. So that's making things even worse. It's just dividing us, race.
They're always gonna do that.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. Good episode. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everybody who's been chiming in the whole time, tuned in the whole time. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share this video with your friends. Let them know that we've been live on every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. ish. And go to patreon.com/youngliontv to become a member, support what we do over there, sign up, get into the Patreon game with us, and become a part of the pride. Also, if you want to get the merch, head on over to our website, jatan.com/shop, and get some merch over there. And also, we got a show coming up on April 25th at City Winery. We're opening up for Stephen Stanley with a quick little show. If you're in the area, you got nothing to do, it's a Friday night. Come through, catch us, do a little set. Standing room only. There won't be any tables or anything. It's a standing room event. So, citywineryphilly.com. Get your tickets now. And we'll see everybody next week, man. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah.